Hi guys, welcome to the show today. Today I'm gonna go over how you can add AgentCore memory using the new AgentCore CLI. This is gonna be a demo video. Um, okay, so I have an agenda over here that I'm gonna go over. What I'm gonna cover in the video to give you a high level overview. But before we get into this, the prerequisite not prerequisite, like preferable that you go over some existing videos that I already created. For instance, this one, create and deploy AI agent in AWS with new Agent Core CLI is recommended over here. I go over how you can create a new project and I go over the whole project setup and what it means. So if I'm going over the current agenda, if you don't understand anything about the project, make sure you also watch this one. And the other one is this one, Agent Core Memory Deep Dive. In this one, I go over all the Agent Core Memory strategies and what they mean and what they are in a detailed manner. So these two videos, if you've gone over, you're gonna have a better understanding. But if you're not following anything in my existing video, if it's something related to the memory, then go in this video. And if it's something related to the project, then go over this video. Okay. With that in mind, let's go over the agenda. Actually, before the agenda, the thing is, we're gonna add the Agent Core memory using Agent Core CLI. As you know that before we used to use the AgentCore Starter Toolkit, but that has been deprecated. And if you go into AgentCore CLI GitHub, over here they recommend that you uninstall the Starter Toolkit. Okay, so this AgentCore CLI is relatively new, just been out for a couple of months. So they're recommending that we need to use this to create and build AI agents. Okay, so in the agenda, let's go over what I'm going to cover in the video. First, I'm going to create a project with no memory using AgentCore CLI. Then I'm going to add three long-term memory strategies: Semantic, Summarization, and User Preferences to this existing project using AgentCore CLI. Now, this project is going to be created using Strands SDK framework, which is the AWS Strands Agents framework. Then I'm going to update the Strand agent code to use AgentCore Memory Session Manager. What this manager is going to do is going to automatically write to short-term memory and then as well as retrieve long-term memory. Okay, it's going to automatically. I might want to bold this. Automatically. Normally, if you don't use this, you have to manually write to short-term memory and then you have to manually retrieve it and inject it in the prompt. But if you use this, it's going to automatically handle it for us. It's going to retrieve it and then it's going to inject it together with the prompt and send it to LLM. Okay. Then we're going to generate semantic summarization, user preference, long-term memories. Over here, this was just setting up the strategies. Here we're actually gonna create conversations. We're gonna do agent core invoke and do conversation with the LLM and generate long-term memories. And then we're gonna verify that the long-term memories are injected and sent to LLM with the prompt, and we're gonna verify in CloudWatch Logs. Okay, we're gonna verify how you can. I'm gonna show you how you can verify this. Then we're gonna identify long-term memory in CloudWatch Logs. Now, this is gonna be very handy for troubleshooting memory issues. So I'm gonna show you how you can go over CloudWatch Logs and how you can identify what memory, where is the injected memory and what memory is what kind of long-term memory. They're going to be very handy for troubleshooting memory things. Then we're going to add one more long-term memory, episodic, extracted, and reflected memory by updating config. Now, the reason I didn't add all of them in one go is I wanted to show you how you can add memory to an existing project that already has memory, because the problem is that AgentCore CLI only gives you options to add a new memory and or remove a memory. It does not like add a full memory resource, not like strategy. With AgentCore CLI, you cannot incrementally, as of right now, add a new memory strategy. So I'll show you how you can update the config and deploy to add an incremental one. And in the same way, you can also remove it also the same way. Then we're gonna actually, this is just adding the strategy, the episodic, and then we're gonna generate the episodic long-term memories. We're gonna create conversation to generate them. Then I'm gonna show you when you should use episodic memory use cases, AWS official recommendations. We should not always use it, but I will show you what are the like where it makes sense to use it. Okay. Then we're gonna remove the episode semantic and episodic memory. Okay. And then finally we're gonna delete the whole CloudFormation stack. We're gonna undo everything and delete all the resources using AgentCore CLI. So that's the agenda. And then I created a script over here. These are my old notes. As I go through it, I'm gonna do all this stuff. You don't have to follow it. These are my old notes. But as I go through it and I build the whole project and demo stuff, I'll come here and check mark as each one of them is knocked off. Okay. So let's go over from the beginning. I am I created a folder over here, and I'm gonna start from the scratch. Um, and this is my uh, window. I'm using Windows 11. This is my Windows command prompt. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check what my identity is, and this is the correct identity. Okay, that I want to use. Now the next thing is I'm gonna create a project with no memory. So to create a project with no memory, I'm gonna do AgentCore create, and then the project name. So the project name I want to give it is memory demo. Okay, I'm gonna say over here memory demo, and let's go into then I'll say yes, add an agent to the project. We'll call it my agent. Create a new agent. We'll select Python. We'll do direct code deploy. Default HTTP. Framework I'm going to use AWS Strands SDK. Okay. And the model we're going to use is Anthropic Claude 5. Okay, so let's select that. Okay, memory, right now, we're not gonna select memory, and we're gonna come back to this later. Over here, also, we're gonna leave default options, and then we're just gonna press enter. So this is my agent Python, direct code, HTTP strands, Claude Sonnet, US Anthropic, non-public. Okay, let's create this. This is gonna create a empty project with no memories. Okay. So over here, if you say it just created this memory demo and is gonna be adding stuff over here. And then we're gonna go over there. We're gonna go inside the project, and then we're gonna add 3 long-term memory strategies. um, to the existing project. Now, the other thing was if I create a project and I just select long term, it automatically has all four. So I wanted to break it down like this way. You can see you can selectively add three and then add one more and remove and stuff, all this stuff. You can do it. Okay. So let's just give this a second. And then when this gets done, then we're gonna add the long-term memories. It normally takes like a minute or so. There you go. So it's done. And now let's go into the folder and let me show you. Let me open up VS Code and let me show you where we at. And then I'll show you how we can add. So this is the base project. Over here, we have all the AgentCore config. As I was showing you in the previous video, you can go over the video. In that video, I go over everything, all of this stuff. So over here, the only thing to note is in the AgentCore JSON, there's no memory right now, okay? There's no memory right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add memory to this. So let's add three long-term memories. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna again go over here and I'm gonna say Agent Core, and then it's gonna bring up the UI, and then I'm gonna add, and then I'm gonna say memory, okay? And then I'll leave it as my memory. And this is the event expiration in a short-term events. We write to short-term events. So this is like how long the short-term events should last. So this is 30-day SE expiration. Now over here in the memory strategies, I will select three memory strategies to show you. I'll select Semantic, I'll select Summarization, and User Preference. I'll select Episodic later, but I'll select only these three. Okay, enter. Index meta keys, enable filter, index meta keys, enable filtering on memory records. No, okay, I don't want to index on metadata keys right now. Streaming, enable memory streaming, I'll say no. Okay, let's confirm. Okay, okay, it's already added. Now I'm just gonna exit out over here. So Control C. Okay, just give me 1 second. Oh, what happened? It kind of like completely went. Just give me 1 second. Let me bring it up. Okay. Where's my folder? Memory demo. Okay, there I'm at, and uh, what I'm gonna do is, so yeah, we just added the three memories. Now, if we go over here, you see over here in AgentCore JSON, um, it added these three memories: semantic, summarization, and preference. Now, the other thing is, I have a reference over here that I'm going to copy stuff over, but this one, we just added three memory strategies. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is that the project name is Memory Demo, and the memory name is My Memory. Now, if we go over to, uh, I'm gonna X out of here and over here too. If we go over to runtime, this is Agent Core, and I'm gonna reload it. You can see right now I just have um, one existing customer. This was before. I just wanted to show you before I deploy to show you what we have over here right now. We have this. So our project is not customer support. These two are customer. Our project name is Memory Demo. So we're going to deploy this. So now the next thing to do is, so we already added this. Now we're going to add update strand. Well, actually, before we even do that, let me bring up the terminal. And I need to bring up two terminals. Uh, okay, just give me 1 second. I think it's take a second. I have maybe I can just add another PowerShell over here because one I'll use to dump all the memory contents, and the other one I'll use over here. Um, what I'll do is I'll just add. Sometimes it takes a little while. Sometimes it's fast. So it's kind of okay. Just give me a second. Python. Okay, now it did it. Okay, I'm on Windows 11, and this is the command that I'm going to check to make sure that I'm pointing correct. I'm pointing correct over there. Now, this is the other one, and let me check over here that I'm pointing correct. This is the project. It needs to point to the Python exe in our project. Okay, that should be the first one. So this is correct. Now, the only other thing I wanted to check is what identity, and very likely I have to change my identity to no, actually I don't have to change my identity. This is correct. Okay, this one is correct. And let me make sure over here is correct too. Yeah, over here is correct as well. Okay, I think we're all set over here. Um, okay, now let's go over, let's update our project code to add AgentCore Memory Session Manager that will automatically write to short-term and retrieve long-term memory. Okay. Now, before I go over here, this project structure, the way it's all structured, AgentCore and then app, model, MCP client, and main.py. I go over all of this in my previous YouTube video that I would show you, AgentCore CLI. So just go over that if you are not familiar with it. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna add AgentCore Session Memory Manager over here. So what I need to do is I'm gonna add this memory folder. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add, I'm gonna go over here and then I'm gonna show you what's in the memory. Okay, so this is the memory folder, and I'm just gonna add the memory over here. So this memory folder, and it doesn't have anything. Session.py has agent core. It adds over here. We have a function called get memory session manager. This is the agent core memory session manager, which is Strands integration because we use Strands. That's why it already has integration with it. Okay. And the other thing is, I want to show you guys a couple of things. First is these two. These are environment variables. This one is gonna be if you go over here, AWS targets.json right over here. Right now it's empty, but hang on, where was I? Let me bring it up. Okay, yeah. So right now there's a AWS region. Uh, this is going to get populated based on the setting in AWS target.json. Now the thing is, this one is going to get populated when we do agent core deploy. This will get populated, and this will have a region setting. So this AWS region is going to come from here. Okay, the region. And this environment variable memory dot shared memory ID. Now this one is going to be injected uh, by the runtime. Okay, it's going to be injected by the AgentCore runtime after deployment, and I'll show you this one. This is going to be the name of our memory in all caps. The other one is going to be automatic. Okay, so we just put it over here. I'll show you how we're going to update this one in a second. So over here, the thing is, these these namespaces need to correspond with these ones. See, right now I have semantic summarization user preference. The namespaces should be the same. This is semantic summarization user preference. These should be the same. Okay. You can see like summary is summary actor session ID, summary actor session ID. The semantic and user preference don't have uh, that one has facts and preferences. So the thing is, for now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna comment out the episodic, and we're gonna come back to episodic. Okay. So that's this part, and we're gonna update. Well, actually, let me. I think over here I should have. Let me update. Uh, Over here I show you. I think I'm gonna. I can just update it right now. My memory, this name, you see my memory. What you have to do is you're gonna come over here, my memory, but my memory needs to be in all caps. Okay, this case sensitive. That's very important. It's gonna be my memory like this. Okay, and this one is going to be when we deploy it, it's automatically going to be injected, and the value of this is going to be the memory ID in Agent Core. Okay, again, this is my memory. So I think this one is all set, my memory ID. This one, you leave it like this, and then so we added this, and then next thing is I gotta update main.py. So let's go over to main.py. Okay, I'm gonna update main.py, and then I'm gonna go over this main.py. Okay. Okay, here's main.py. Now let's go over this uh, pretty quick. So first of all, MCP client that is covered in the previous project is just over here, default project. System prompt, I just gave it some system prompt that um, use the tools or any provided context in the prompt to answer questions accurately. Do not ignore relevant provided information. And then this is my own prompt that I said if user input is ambiguous, missing, ask for clarification, do not guess. It's just like a regular prompt. Um, so this is the prompt, and then we have I have three tools that are mocked up. Okay. So first is search flights, then we have select flight, then we have confirm booking. Search flight is we give it an origin and destination, and departure date is gonna give us these two flights. Okay. Then select flight is we give it a flight ID, one of the flight ID from here, and then it's gonna give us selected flight. Okay. And this one is confirmed booking. We get a flight ID and it's going to give us a return the booking confirmed. Okay. These are three tools, and we add these two tools over here to tools. Okay. And then tools, we also append we have an MCP client that is pointing over here. The MCP client is pointing to over here. It's going to add that tools also by default. Then we have this get or create agent. If the agent is not there, it's going to create it. And over here, you can see this get memory session manager. And this is this one over here, the one that we just created. So it's going to get the session manager. This is how we integrate the session manager to the agent, the Strand SDK agent. Okay. Then our system prompt tools. And here's the entry point. In the entry point, when we invoke it, we're going to give it a session ID, which is going to be just gonna do dash dash session. But with the user ID, the user ID we cannot do dash dash user ID. We have to pass it as a header. Okay, so we have to retrieve it like this. And for this to make it work, we have to do another thing that I'll just show you. And then this one is just you get the agent from here, and then you just invoke the agent and show the result. Okay? The only thing is when you invoke the agent, um, over here you get the agent. So when you get the agent, you pass it a session ID and user ID to it. Okay, and then you invoke the agent. So that's all over there. Now the other thing, but we have to do it over here in AgentCore JSON runtime. I have to add this because because we're putting this header, we have to update AgentCore JSON runtime right over here to allow us to add that header. Okay, this header is the same as this header XMC. That we gotta do. XAMZ Bedrock. I think the name over here, XAMZ Bedrock Agent Core Runtime Custom User ID. Okay. Okay. So, okay. Now the other thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy over. Now I do have a file like a Python script to dump all the memories. Okay. And let me quickly show you this also. So this is the script, Python script to dump out all the memory. I give it a region name, memory ID, actor ID is my user ID that I'm gonna send. These two are the one that I'm gonna, when I invoke it, over here, user ID and session ID, when I invoke it, these two. And then we're gonna dump out all the memories. We're gonna see all the short-term memory, long-term memory, all four of them, and I'll show you. Okay. So, and I use AWS. I use this Boto 3 client Bedrock Agent Core. This is a low-level API. This is Agent Core Data Plane API. Okay. That's a low-level API. So it's a little bit more stable than using high-level API like Memory Session Manager or Memory Client. Okay, so this is this. So we did this. Okay. Okay, now in the like in the dump all memory, really quick. I'm just gonna go over really quick. First, I'm gonna like print short-term memory events. This is the first thing I'm going to print out short-term memory. Now, short-term memory, first the short-term memory is written, and from short-term, long-term memory generated. I covered this in my other video on memory, so make sure you watch that one. So this is a short-term memory I uh, printed out. Then what I do is these are helper function. These two are helper. Then I print out long-term semantic, then I'm checking a score, then I do summarization, I spit out, then I spit out, like print out user preferences, and the end I print out episodic. Okay, so it's just like a Python script to um, um, all I'm doing is like in a namespace, I list all memory name records, and I just use a namespace, and then list all memory records and list all memory records. If you see, we just go, we just ask you to list all memory records, and this request is for a specific memory ID namespace and 100 result. List all the memory records. Okay, and then I just call it with different namespaces. Each memory has a different namespace. So over here, for instance, I do for semantic, and then I spit out all the semantic memories. Okay, okay. So this is this one, and I'll put this in my Patreon group later on, all the code. Okay, so we are over here now. Let's do an agent core deploy. Okay, so we're over here. Let me just. Let me make sure one last time I'm up the same. Okay, this is correct. So I think we covered everything over here. Let me make sure that I didn't miss anything. We added 3 memories. I copied this, updated main, this one I did. Agent, okay, yeah. I just gotta do agent core deploy. Now agent core deploy is gonna uh, deploy this project and the memories to Agent Core. Okay, and Agent Core, you can see, I'll reload it to right now. There's still only one. That's an existing one. Okay, so I'm gonna do Agent Core deploy, and we'll also see while we're doing that this AWS target is once it deploys it, is gonna populate it. And that's what I was showing you um, that the value over here, region, is going to come from here. And then I'll also show you my memory where it got injected. And this takes like a minute or so. Oh, there you go. See, like it populated this targets, and this is the region, and this region is gonna be injected as an environment variable over here. And this one I will show you as soon as the deployment succeed, then I'll show you. And while it's doing this, let me update this over here too, because this should be my memory. And this has to be all uppercase. Okay. So right now what it's doing it is, uh, I go over this in my previous video on AgentCore CLI. This over here in AgentCore, we have two folders. App is our agent, and AgentCore has the CDK project. So this AgentCore CLI automatically builds the CDK projects and then synthesizes it into CloudFormation stack and then deploys it automatically. It does everything for you. We don't write any CloudFormation code or CDK code. And this is gonna take like a minute or two. It normally takes a minute or two. And let me go over here. Then I'll show you where this is injected. And then I'm gonna update the memory ID. I think these two are gonna do. And then well actually we're done with the update Strand SDK code. Let me go over here and mark what has been done. So this is done, this is done, this is done. Now update. So this one we did. The next one is gonna be we generate all the long-term memories. So we're done till here right now. Okay, let's see where we at. Okay, almost there. And let's see what it's doing. I think it kind of shakes. And when it shakes, you have to increase the vertical height. Okay, so over here, this is gonna create a, let me go with the CloudFormation stack. See right now over here, uh, it just created this one. You see, create in progress, and it's gonna create all the resources in it automatically, the role and whatever it needs to create. Memory demo is our project name, so it just created this CloudFormation stack. And okay, so let's just wait for this one. It should almost be done. And then we're also gonna go over to the runtime. Okay, right now it's still going 307. So after this one, what we'll do is we're gonna execute We're gonna talk to the LLM. We're gonna have a little conversation. That's gonna generate automatic. That's gonna create short-term events, and which is gonna create long-term memories automatically. And then we're gonna update the session, change it, and then we're gonna make sure that semantic memory was injected. Okay. Get 3 of 7. Could get done soon. Okay. I think this video would be pretty informative for you guys because this is pretty brand new and there's a little bit of ambiguity in how to do this stuff. So I try to put all this thing together so that you guys can know all the details over here. Okay, let's go over back over here. So we're at 5 of 7, almost there. And now the only thing is I saw this model. I'm hoping we're not going to get an error. If we do get an error, then I'm going to have to execute the model or change the model, but we'll see. Okay, there you go. It just got deployed. Now to check the status, you can just say AgentCore status. And gonna come up with it, deployed it. Let me go like this, and let's go over here and reload runtime. Now, when we deploy our AI agent, this AI agent, when we deploy it, it's gonna deploy to the runtime. So there you go. This is the runtime. This is our runtime that created, and our AI, our code is deployed into the runtime. If you go over here into the memory agent, I go over this in the previous video also in the AgentCore CLI. But this is our code deployment. And over here, that code deployment is referencing in the default endpoint. Okay. If you go into version 1, you will say this is the memory environment variable. You see this memory ID? This is the one I was showing you over here. This memory ID, that where is it going to get it? I did not create it. We did not create it. Automatic when it deployed it, it automatically injected based on our project name, injected it in all caps. And this is the memory ID. So whenever it gets it, it's going to get this memory ID over here. Okay. So that's that. And let's update the memory ID also then. Um, let's get this memory ID and update our script because we're gonna be executing this one. Now Dan is gonna be the same. The only thing we're gonna end up changing is session ID whenever we switch sessions. Okay, so this one is done. So this update strand code, like I mentioned, this is done. Now let's try to generate long-term memories. Okay. Now the thing is, what I'm gonna do is uh, um, we're gonna first when well actually let me do it step by step. So let's first go ahead and set our session ID. Okay, session ID. let me see. In Windows 11, this is how I'm just generating a new GUID and then set it to session ID. So here you go, the session ID got this value. And then username, I'm gonna say Dan. Same thing if I echo username is gonna be Dan. Okay. So these two have been done. Session ID and username have been set. Now I'm gonna do the actual invoke. What this command is gonna do is this is gonna invoke AgentCore. This is gonna call the AgentCore. This is gonna call over here the AI agent over here. Now, how do we know that this AgentCore invoke is gonna call over here, right? The way you know it is because if you go to AgentCore CLI deployed state will tell you where was when we deployed it, where is deployed. You see, like the agent is deployed on this runtime, and here's the memories and everything. So when you do AgentCore invoke, it's gonna invoke over here, the agent over here, okay, in this runtime. So that's how it's tied up. And the other thing is, all we're gonna do invoke is we're gonna say my name is Dan and I prefer email updates. I recently bought a smartwatch. And then session, we gave it session ID, and we're gonna pass this is our user ID. We're gonna pass this header with the value of user ID. This header is user ID, okay? And when we invoke this is gonna go to the agent, and then the agent is gonna send it to the LLM. And then AgentCore Session Manager is gonna write to short-term events this. And then asynchronously on the background, AgentCore is gonna create long-term memories based on what kind of strategies we've chosen over here. Now this now now over here I'm gonna be hoping that all three long-term memories get created. Okay. So right now, for instance, actually actually over here, let me show you when I do session ID, I'm gonna take this one and put it over here. And I'll show you if I go over here and so I just this is the session we're using. If I go Python and then I am over here, app my agent, and then this one, I'm gonna execute that script to dump all the memories. Okay, so I'm gonna execute this. So as you can see, there's no memory. There's no short-term memory. There's no long-term semantic checking scores. And we don't have no long-term summarization, user preference, or episodic. There's nothing over here. Okay. So let's go back over here and let's try to create some memory. So when I do, I think I'm gonna have to copy this one. So when I do this one, okay. So let's go ahead and execute this. And let's see if we're going to get any error from the model. Let's hope not, but let's see. Okay, there you go. So the query got executed. Your name is Dan. You prefer email address updates you recently, and this is the session. This is the session CC2 right over here. This one. Okay, now let's go over here and again try to see were there any memories created. Okay, so here's the thing. Short-term memory, event one, these are short-term memories. 4, 5. So we have right now we have 5 short-term memories. Okay, but non-long-term memory. These long-term memory take 1 to 2 minutes to create. So let's pause for 1 to 2 minutes, and I'm gonna write. I think I wrote this down over here. Um, Let me see if I can. No, that one takes the episodic I wrote down. Maybe I'll put over here. I'll say wait 1 to 2 minutes for LTM memories to be created. Okay. And let's try to execute again. Oh, there you go. We got, see, it took like 1 minute. So maybe it, this one is important. It takes 1 to 2 minutes. So it's not instant. As you saw, the short-term memory was instant creation. Okay. LTM memory for semantic. This one. This one takes 1 to 2 minutes. Okay. So if you go over here and you see what got created, let's see what got created over here. Uh, Okay, first one is the short-term events, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have long-term semantic. Semantic memory is facts, right? And so is the fact one is Dan prefer email update. Then the second semantic is username is Dan. Third one is Dan received a smartwatch. Those are 3. Then I also check a score. I'll come back to this one in a second. Long-term summarization also got created. So this is just a summary of like user identified as Dan, and this is like a summary memory, and then user preferences also got created. User explicitly mentioned that he recently bought a smartwatch. Okay, and then there's a second user preference that they prefer to receive email updates. Okay, episodic, there's no episodic. So we got all 3 created: user preference, summarization, and semantic. Okay, all 3 of them got created. Now, okay, so we can check our memory store that when we did this, all 3 memories got created. Now, how do you know that these memories are gonna be injected? Like, let's try to now. Next, what we're gonna do is, okay, this one is done. So now what we're gonna do is, we're gonna update our session ID and then execute. a different command. Um, See, now the thing is, if you look over here in these memories, uh, summarization, the actor is user ID. This and this is session ID. Summarization, like, is based on a user for a specific session. Okay, so this one is session ID. This one is not based on session. This is gonna be, even if you use a different session, this memory will still be injected as long as the score matches. And I'll show you what the score matches mean. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change our session ID and we're gonna use a different session ID. Then I'll show you that some of these memories will get injected um, automatically. And I'll show you that. Okay, so let's update the session ID first. Okay, so we're gonna give it a new session ID and then we're gonna echo it. You see, now we have this session ID. And before I forget, I'm gonna update this over here. Okay, so over here in session ID. So session ID got updated and this updated over here. Then I'm gonna ask it this query. So what am I gonna invoke? I'm gonna say what did I buy recently? As you know, my before the query that I had put in a different session was I told it that I recently bought a smartwatch. Now I changed the session and I'm asking it what did I buy recently? Okay. Now normally when you change a session, it starts the this invocation goes to a new micro VM. Uh, okay, so it's gonna start out from scratch, but some of the memories are gonna get injected into the prompt, and that way the LLM can actually answer this. Okay, and I'll show you that. So let's say what did I buy recently? And before I do this, let me show you CloudWatch Logs. Because I'm gonna show you that CloudWatch. Let's go over to CloudWatch. Okay, make sure you're in the right um, region. So I'm gonna go into model invocations. This is Gen AI observability. Okay, let me make sure over here the model over here it's using. Okay, it's kind of This is kind of odd. Over there it said US, but now it says global. This one is the correct one, but if you remember on in the UI, for some odd reason it was saying US. That was not correct. Okay, now global is this one, 4, 5. So it's already done. So this is good. Okay, so the last one was 10 minutes ago, so 3:45. So right now I'm gonna execute this one and let's execute it. What did I recently buy? And I'll show you what happens. I'll show you what happens. What did I recently buy? Now, how does the now let's see. See, the thing is now the question is the LLM. If when we change the session, when we change the session, uh, and let me reload this one and I'll show you over here. This query is gonna get logged over here to CloudWatch Logs. Okay, there you go, you got logged over here. So that's just the tool spec. Okay, those are the tool specs. So yeah, so the thing is, when we change the session, the agent, when we change the session and invoke it, the request goes to a different micro VM. AgentCore uses one micro VM for one session, and if you use a different session, it goes to a different micro VM. Now, each micro VM actually loads all the code into the micro VM. So uh, when we go to a different session, what happens is uh, because the new micro VM is used, a new agent is created, and it doesn't have a new agent doesn't have any history. So the thing is, if the agent doesn't have any history, there's no agent messages. As you can see over here in the request, there's no message history. It's just this. Normally it would have message history over here. There's no message history because we just changed the session. Since we changed the session, there's a new micro VM and the agent is a new agent. It just got created. Okay. So now the question is, if we ask the LLM, what did I buy recently? There's no agent history. How does the LLM know what did I buy? And the answer is long-term memories. What we do is, if you see over here, this my prompt is going, what did I buy recently? But look at this. What is this? This is long-term memory that got injected by AgentCore Session Manager. You know, like this one that we were talking about, this AgentCore Memory Session Manager. This one, when we executed the previous command, it wrote to short-term events, and then AgentCore created long-term memories in 2 minutes. And then when we did this prompt, what did I buy recently? AgentCore Memory Session Manager injected this long-term memory with it. Now, all of this is going to go to the LLM, and that's how the LLM know. LLM is going to look into all of this and get the answer from there. LLM doesn't store anything itself. So let me put this. I'm gonna try to uh, tear this apart for you guys. Uh, right over here. Okay, right over here. Let me delete all this stuff. Okay, so here we have this. Okay, so this is the long-term memory that got injected by AgentCore Session Manager. So this is the prompt that we did. Now, first question is, how do you know which long-term memory is what? So let's try to put it down over here. User context. Dan prefers this. This is the context preference categories. Then again, we have context preference categories. Categories. Okay, now how do I know which memory is what? Okay, like normally what you're supposed to do is this format of the memory is somehow supposed to be, in over here we have this is a Bedrock Agent Core docs. Like I know this one is user preference, but like if I bring it up over here, we have something called extraction output schema and then consolidation output schemas. So the output schema, it shows you how it's supposed to look like. So this one you can see is kind of matches context preference categories. It's kind of in the same format. But sometimes I've noticed that you cannot tell what it is. Like for instance, this one is kind of hard to tell what it is. But the way we can do it is in our script, if we go over here, and this was our script, and we spit out all the memories. Now let's see over here, which one was this one? This one was, there you go. This is a user preference memory. Okay, the user expression that they smartwatch, and then over here we have the same context, preference, and categories, technology and variables. Okay, this is exactly the same. And this one is also the user preference over here again. This is communication notification. This is exactly this. That's how I know this is user preference one memory, long-term memory, long-term memory one. And this one is user preference long-term memory 2. Now the question is, what is this? So let's go and find this here. Now this one is score, ignore the score one. Here's the semantic memory. This is over here, there's only two. Forget about the score. Score, I'll tell you later. Semantic memory. So see, this is semantic memory. So this is how I know semantic memory, long-term memory LTM. Now the other thing is this semantic long-term memory. The issue is if I come over here and look at the now the thing is over here we have something called custom override. You can custom override the instructions, but you cannot override the schema. But over here in the schema, it shows that it might be coming in this format. Even in the consolidation schema, it says it might be coming in this format, but that is not correct because I think AgentCore Session Manager, when it does it, when it injects it, it's injecting like this. So for now, we have no idea. But if we have a script like this one, you can very easily tell which one it is. So over here, we've identified this is AgentCore Session Manager. It injected one semantic memory and two user preference memory. So when we asked the LLM what did I buy recently, it can use either of this. It can either use semantic memory because over here we have it, or you can even use this one, user preference. So the thing is, LLM, all this stuff will go to LLM and it's going to answer this from here. And that's how it was able to answer. See, like over here, based on the information I have, you recently bought a smartwatch. Okay. So this is how it's able to answer. Okay. There's no other way. The answer is coming from this LTM that was injected by AgentCore Session Memory Manager. Okay. So this is this, and this one is pretty handy. It's very good to know how this comes. Okay, so this one was this. So this is done. Generate semantic. Okay, so let me see what this one is. Okay, so user preference, we already know the user preference was injected. User preference is this too. If I say what do I prefer, um, over here say I prefer email updates. Now let's say I execute this one. What do I prefer? It should be able to answer me over here. Let's see. And same thing, like when this gets executed, it's gonna get injected. You see over here, based on the information I have, you prefer to receive email updates. If you go over here again and reload this, there's 355, and okay, there's 4.6. So there you go. I asked it, what did I buy? No, 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 not my recently. I think, what do I prefer? See over here, since we're using the same session, the conversation history is still appended. The previous one is still over here. But if we change the session ID, this resets. Because when we change the session ID and when we invoke, it goes to a different micro VM, and the different micro VM, it again instantiates a new agent, and then it get reset. But over here we're using the same session ID. So what do I prefer? And then this is the long-term memory. And as you can see, it's the same exact one. So I'm not gonna repeat. But over here, um, this was the preference ones. You expressed stated that they prefer to receive email update. This was the user preference one. Okay, so this one I just wanted to show you that it's there. The same thing like over here, this one. This is a user preference. So we know that the user preference is also there. And this one, we're okay. Okay, so we are done with, we did this, we did this, we verify, and then we identify long-term memory in CloudWatch Logs. We did this. Okay. Now let's try to um, add one more long-term memory episodic by updating config. Now here's the other thing. Uh, AgentCore CLI does not. We don't have, as of right now, we do not have any command to execute something over here, say agent core. If I do agent core add memory, it adds the whole memory. If I do agent core remove memory, it removes the whole memory. And then when we deploy it, it delete the whole memory or add. It cannot, as of right now, it cannot update partially. And that's why I wanted to show you, so like 3.1 removed, to show you how you guys can do this. So right now, the way we're gonna add episodic is we just update this config, agent code JSON. We just add episodic memories over here, and then we deploy it. But then the other question is, how do you know what the format for that is? So to do that, all we're gonna do is we're gonna go over here and we're gonna create a sample project over here. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna run this as administrator. And I'm gonna go over here. Okay, oh, right over here, I'm gonna create a sample project and I'm gonna add all four memory strategies, and then I'm gonna copy over the um, okay, I'm gonna say AgentCore create. I'm gonna copy over the episodic format, and that's the trick way. I'm just gonna say test project. Yes, my agent, create new agent, Python, direct code, HTTP, strands, bedrock. Hey, you see, like over here, you see it's not US Anthropic. This is not correct. When it added the model, it actually added global, so it's kind of weird. Uh, right over here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add long-term and short-term. And see, here's the problem. Right now, long-term is gonna add all four, and that's why I wanted to show you how to create an empty, then add three, and add one, and then remove. You can do granularly. Right now, if I just do long term, okay, none long term. Okay, here you go, long term, and then I'm gonna create this. So when it creates this, all you're gonna do is you're gonna copy the format for the episodic and carry over like a little bitty hack. Now, if I go into the test project and then go into Agent Core, and right over here, if I open with Notepad, and you can see this is the episode it created. We just copy this, and just copy this, and that's all. And just copy this, and we put it over here. And that's it. So this way it added the episodic. This is the um, extracted memory. This is the extracted memory, and this is the reflection memory. Now, extracted memory is for a session. I go over this in my other video in the memory one. This is the for a session high level meaning, and reflection is high level insight for from multiple episodes. Okay. I go over this in my memory one. Please watch that video to understand what they actually mean. Okay, so over here we have uh, episodic. Now let's go over here, and I'm gonna exit over here. Okay, we don't need this anymore. And I'm gonna just go ahead and delete this because I don't need this. Okay, let it delete this. And so, okay, so we updated this one, but then we also need to, so we updated the episodic. That's just the memory strategy. The other thing you have to do is in session, you have to uncomment out the episodic one. Now these namespaces are exactly the same. Actor ID, this is for extracted memories and this for reflection. These namespaces are the same like over here. Okay. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you, talk about is what is this actually doing? This is the retrieval config. One is session memory is going to write to short-term memory. It's going to write, but one is going to retrieve the long-term memory is going to use this. It's going to retrieve semantic memory from this namespace. Actor ID is going to come from here. Then what it's going to do is whatever query we had put in, what it's gonna do is gonna for that query is gonna calculate a score um uh is going to calculate score of all the long-term memories. Okay, and whichever score is higher than zero point 0.2 is gonna include over here. Okay, and it's gonna select the top three semantic memories. So basically, like whenever I say what did I buy recently, it's gonna go over to all the long-term semantic memories and calculate a score for it based on the query. Uh, the query is what did I buy recently and give it a score. And that score has to be higher than zero point 0.2, higher than zero point 0.2 for it to be injected into the prompt, okay? Now, if you have it like zero point 0.6, even though it's stored in LTM memory, based on your query, it might not inject into the prompt, okay? And for that, what you have to do is you have to then go in and check what is the score of that query. Like for instance, over here, I have a little checking score. So what I do is whatever namespace you have, like over here, the namespace, whatever namespace you have, you just put in your query, is gonna give you a score for this one based on this. Now this retrieve all memories, this just gets all the memories. Let me see if I can see. The retrieve all memories. There's just like uses that data plane and for memory, for namespace, for query. It just gets it. The only thing is for this query, it gives you a score. Okay, and that score has to be higher than whatever you put in over here. If that score is coming out to be 0.37 and you put over here zero point 0.6, it's not going to inject the 0.37 memory into the prompt. Okay, next to the prompt so that it's consent to LM is not. So in that way, that's why I have it at zero point 0.2. Some of the tutorials use zero point 0.3, but I put it at zero point 0.2. So this is something that you're gonna have to play around with. 0.2, 0.3, zero point 0.4, whichever one gets you the proper memories. Okay. So this is this, and so this one I episodic. Um, I did this one, so this one is done. Now we're gonna let's draw this. This one is done. Now let's generate some episodic memories. Okay, so in episodic memories, I have these bunch of um, let me try to increase this so you can see it too. I have these different invokes, AgentCore invokes that I'm gonna do. Uh, this is one episode. If you don't know what episode is, then please watch my other memories video. Episode is just like booking one flight. This is booking one flight. This is booking a second flight. And then, well, no, this one is, yeah, this is booking one flight. Then this is booking second, and this is booking third flight. So these are three different episodes. And the hope is, since there are three different episodes, episode is just like one complete, uh, like thing, like completed booking. So when we have multiple episode, the reflection memory, the episodic reflection is get generated when you have multiple completed episodes. And extracted can come when you have even from one, but there's no guarantee that it's always gonna be generated. And the other thing is these take 15 to 20 minutes to generate too. So let's go ahead and generate these memories. And over here, actually, different. Last time when I did, reflection memory took 13 minutes and extracted memory took 22 minutes. But let's see how long this is going to take. The session ID, uh, I think I can leave this one the same session ID. And let's go ahead and invoke this. And as you can see, I'm gonna again execute this. Right now we don't have no episodic memories. You see, no extracted, no reflection. Okay, so let's do this. So what I'm asking is show me all the flight from Houston to Seattle. Now this is gonna go over here and is gonna use search flights. Because I say origin, destination, and date. So it's gonna do a search flight tool and it's gonna show me this one. So let's do this. Show me all flights. Okay, there you go. You got United Airlines this one, 8 a.m. and then Delta this one. Okay. Then it also asks me, would you like to select flight for booking? The second one I'm gonna say is choose the earliest flight. And let me do this. I'm gonna say now here's the thing. How does it know I just asked the question and I'm asking this choose the earliest first. How does it know what did I ask before? What is the context? The reason is session ID. Since I'm using the same session ID, the request is gonna go to the same micro VM, and the same micro VM is gonna have the same instance of the agent, and the agent.messages is going to have previous conversations. And that's how the LLM can know what the previous conversation was and what the context is. So now I'm going to say choose the earliest flight. That's how it's going to know is previous answer. The previous answer is going to come from agent.messages. Okay, so there you go. United Airlines is correct because that one is at 8 a.m. Okay, so this one is correct. Now this third thing we're gonna do is we're gonna ask it complete booking. Okay. Same thing over here, we're using the same session ID. And let's do complete booking. And there you go, the booking got completed. Okay. So we're gonna do the same, or now we're gonna change the session ID to a different session ID. Okay. And because the thing is over here, the extraction one depends on session ID. So I'm gonna try to see if we can generate this one too. So I'm gonna use a new session ID. Okay. And then I'm gonna execute this. Now I'm asking it, before I was asking Houston to Seattle, now I'm asking Seattle to New York, but the same concept. And the third one is gonna be New York to Boston. So I'm just gonna execute these. And then after this, I'm gonna execute this. Okay. And then I'm gonna execute this. You see like Hmm. Okay, then after this, I'm gonna execute this. Okay, this one is done. I've selected flight and then I'm gonna complete booking. Now the hope is when the session ID is the same, it's supposed to be a little bit faster than when we change the session because the micro VM doesn't have to spin. But I think over here, we're noticing a very slight. Okay, so over here we got done with this. Now let's do session ID again over here. See, like when we update the session ID and then when we invoke it, because it's gonna have to create a new micro VM and load the code in it and create the agent. So it take a little bitty second. But when we invoke it again with the same session, it just uses the same micro VM. So the hope is, hopefully you can see it's a slightly little faster, not that much different, but slightly faster. Okay, okay. Now the last one is this one. And once it does this, um, there you go. Okay, so once it does this, here's our session ID. I'm gonna copy this session ID because the extracted one, the episodic extracted is gonna need it because that's per session. So we're gonna use the last session. Memory ID is the same. Okay, so okay, uh, that's kind of interesting. It just gave us an itinerary too, even though we did different sessions. There's something additional it did. Okay, now the thing is, when we executed all these, um, uh, AgentCore Session Memory Manager wrote to short-term events. If AgentCore Session, this AgentCore Session Memory Manager, when we executed these queries, it wrote it to short-term memory automatically. And when it wrote it there, asynchronously, AgentCore created long-term memories. Okay. Now the thing is, for episodic right now, for episodic is gonna take quite a while, and let's do a stopwatch online stopwatch. Uh, let's start the stopwatch. Okay, so let's start the stopwatch and see how long it's gonna take us. Um, but over here, um, let's see. So I updated the session. Uh, okay. So as you can see, I executed all the queries, and right now, if I execute, I'll check my memories, I still don't have it. And for my previous timings, I updated this. The reflection one took 13 minutes and extracted at 22 minutes. In the meantime, let's go over episodic memory because this is kind of important. Uh, most of the tutorials do not show episodic memory. Okay, most of them just show, uh, most of the times you might not need it. Most of the time you might just need semantic. a summarization, or user preference. Episodic only if it makes sense for your project. Now let's go over what AWS official says. When should you use it? Okay. Now, in the meantime, because this is going to take time, in that time, let's go over here and let's go over episodic memory. So the episodic memory strategy I already highlighted. So it says customers should use episodic memory. This is the key. In any scenario where of understanding a sequence of past interaction improves quality. Basically, if the LLM goes over the past interactions and comes up with analysis, and that can improve quality going forward, then you should use it. Okay, we're understanding a sequence of past interaction improve quality. Now, what are the examples? Okay, like over here it says ideal use cases is customer support conversations, because it can inject past long-term memories. Like for instance, like let's say customer support conversation, right? Why is episodic one still relevant? Because what could happen is that uh, Agent Core Session Manager can inject long-term memories of based on previous support conversation that can help future conversations. Because it could have long-term memories based on how it resolved previous cases, and for future one, when those memories get injected, it can help. And this is why it says this wherever understanding of a sequence of past interaction improves quality. Okay. See over here, the thing is understanding of previous support conversations will help future support conversation, because previous support conversation you can find out how some issue was resolved, and it can inject that long-term memory when you're having this conversation, and that way it can help the current conversation. LLM can give you a better answer. So that's an example. Customer support conversation, agent-driven workflow, code assistant that rely on session history, person productivity tool, troubleshooting or diagnostic workflows, and application that need context grounded in real prior events. So basically, if you're relying something that happened previously, that is going to benefit to you now or in the future. Okay. Now, here's other example of episodic. A code deployment interaction with the agent selected specific tool encountered an error and successfully resolved it using an alternative approach. Okay, so the thing is, once it does it, now the second conversation about the same code deployment, if we ask it, we're getting this error, maybe what they can do is it can inject this previous long-term memory when you had encountered a similar error and put it in long-term memory, so that next time if we were asking it, hey, I'm getting this new error, because it injected the long-term memory from previous history, it can give you a better answer. Okay, so some places where information from previously will help in the future, in the current, in the new conversation and in the future. So an appointment rescheduling task that captures the user intent, the agent decision to use a particular tool, and the successful outcome. A data processing workflow that document which parameter led to optimal performance for a specific. Okay, but the thing is, I just gave you a few examples over here, but this one is the core one, okay? And I'll just highlight this. Now, the thing is, in your project, for your specific project, what you can do is you can enable it and then test it out and see if it's working out for you or not. And then you can see if it's helping you, then you can add it. If it's not helping you, then either you can remove it or you can customize how the episodic memory is generated. And the customization is a different subject that's more advanced. I might cover it in another video. But I think for now, uh, for most part, you don't need it. If you want to need it, you can add it and then test it out and execute different queries and see if it can work for your specific project. Okay, so I wanted to cover that. This is when to use it. Um, okay, so let's see how long has it been right now. It's been 7 minutes. And if we go over here, let's see, did we get any episodic yet? Okay, we haven't got any episodic yet. So 7 minutes and over here with 13 and 20. So I think what I'll do is, because I really want to show you guys the real, I don't want to forward it because I want you guys to see the real demo, like as is. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll leave this one running and I'll just um, show you in real time because I do the whole purpose of this demo is to show it from the scratch, all the stuff in the demo as is. Okay, so um, let me see what else we have over here. Um, so after this, what I'll do is we'll list all the episodic memories. And now the other thing is the episodic memories are gonna be pretty complex. When I list it, you're gonna see it's gonna be pretty big and it's gonna be really hard to read them. I'll just put them in ChatGPT to analyze to understand what it means. And um, and then like we're just gonna execute another query and try out some stuff um, with episodic. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna incrementally remove some memories too. I want to show you how to remove a memory too. I'm gonna remove semantic and episodic memory from the config just like we did it and we deploy it. And then we're gonna see, does it mess up our existing memory or not? This is gonna be a good test. And then we're gonna delete the whole thing. Okay, so this is that. Let's go again and execute this. Okay, it's 10 minutes. We have 3 more minutes for reflection. And now reflection memory is uh, high level insights of multiple episodes. Like over here, we did 3 episodes. Uh, Over here, we did 3 episodes. Is going to be a high level insight of these 3 episodes. Okay, that's what it is. Now, the other thing is, uh, you really have to test out in your project uh, because since it's complex and it's more, there's a chance that it could also do something when it's not supposed to do. So I would highly encourage you to test it once we add the episodic for your project. Test out your sample queries And I showed you how to, like um, see the injected memories, right? The whole purpose was now when you do your project, you can see the injected memories and you can see what is being injected and is it good or is it not good and stuff like that. Okay. If it's helping, then you can include it. And, like I've already gone over what are the use cases where it can be helpful. Okay, I think it should be pretty like in the next minute. We're gonna get reflection, and then what I'll do is over here in ChatGPT, um, I'm gonna I'm gonna say this is actually let me put it over here. This is episodic episodic reflection memories. Actually, let me first also say over here, um, I executed these prompts and I'll give it the prompts that I executed. Let me remove the episode one. Okay. And then over here, said below is what this is saying. Okay. So we're gonna use ChatGPT to help us decipher since it's gonna be okay. It's already 14 minutes. If it doesn't come up in another minute, then what I'll do is I'll stop the video and then as soon as it gets generated, I'll come back. Let me make sure what session we're in. 81F. Yeah, that is correct. Session is correct. Let's see. So, like sometimes the time can vary a bit. Um, it's taking 15 minutes. It should generate the memory ID. So this memory ID should correspond to this memory ID. This KW1 GJM KW1. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop the video then. I was hoping it's gonna be in 13, but actually the maximum was 20. So let me Let's just see. It should be any minute now. Now the thing is, the reason this takes longer, yeah, that's another thing. Why is episodic one taking longer? This is more heavy duty too. See, these three are pretty fast to create, 1 to 2 minutes. This episodic one takes uh, quite a bit. You know, the AWS workshop just do show you this one. They don't really show episodic. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop the video and I'll come back to this as soon as I get this memory. Hey, I just found out, I checked the deployment over here in the download. We actually, when we added the episodic memory over here in AgentCore JSON, and when we uncommented it, we have to redeploy it. Oh, AgentCore deploy. So I'm gonna deploy this again. And after deploying, then we have to execute the commands, okay? Because I think we were executing the commands um, um, before we even, I didn't deploy. So the thing is, once we deploy, it's gonna get all the code, then all these commands that we were doing, I'll re-execute them, and then we're just gonna list all the memories. Okay, so I'll pause over here, and because this is gonna take 1 minute, and this we already did. Now the thing is, if episodic memory is not enabled, if you just do it, it's not gonna execute. It's not gonna generate the memories. So once this gets done, I'll re-execute these ones, and then this one should trigger the episodic memories, and then I'll list them. Okay, so I'll stop the video over here and I'll come back to it. After once this deploys, I'll execute these again, and then I'll wait 15-20 minutes, and I'll tell you guys how long it takes, and then I'll come and listen the uh, dump out all the memories. Okay. Okay. I'll see you in a second. Hey guys, so it's 13 minutes. 13 minutes past. So what I did was like I mentioned, uh, I forgot to deploy after we added the episodes in the Agent core and session. I didn't redeploy it. So I just did an Agent core deploy and redeployed the code, and then I executed all these commands, okay, I to so that it can generate the episodic memories in the background. And right now, after 13 minutes, if I come over here and execute it, you can see that it created the episodic reflection memory. Reflection memory is basically high-level insight from multiple episodes. Okay, so right now over here we have this episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. So, but the thing is, it's pretty in line with this time frame. So 13 It did reflection. Now that one took 20 to extract it, so we're gonna wait on that one. But in the meantime, let's go and have a look at this one. Now the thing is, this is the reflection memory. And now what is this saying? Um, let's see, we can a sequential flight booking workflow applies to goals involving searching for flights in a specific route, selecting preferred, finalizing, and triggered when a user requests. User searches for this is like telling us the flow to identify and closing before calling only call. This is really talking about the flow. Now the only thing is it always gives a confidence level from 0 to 1. 0.9 is pretty high confidence. Confidence is basically telling it like if I go over here in episodic, um, if you go over here. Confidence is how useful it will be for future agent. So high is this one. So this is supposed to be very. This is supposed to be that this long-term memory in the will be very useful for the future. 0.9. But the other thing is, I want to really ask ChatGPT to properly give me insight. So what I did was I put in all the prompts that I executed, and I'm gonna ask it below the reflection memory. Can you explain what this is saying? Let's see what it says over here. Uh, This is what its reflection is designed to do. Thank you to understand it. Extracted stores what happened. Reflection stores lessons learned from what happened. In your 3 episode, the agent observed a repeated pattern. Search flight, user chooses earliest flight, completed booking. Reflection model looked across episodes, generalized them into a reusable workflow. What the reflection memory means? Sequential flight booking workflow is simply a name for the pattern it discovered. I've learned a reusable flight booking procedure. Use cases applies to golden on this. This tells the retrieval system when a future user asks for something that resembles a flight booking type, this memory can be relevant. Function is not tied to it. It's learned the workflow. So you guys can also do it whenever you create it. You can. It's kind of hard to read it. If you want to read it, you can read it carefully, or you can ask ChatGPT to decipher it. And let's see, we got 18 minutes. The other one is, we got 4 minutes for 22. Let's see if the other one is created or not. So when this other one gets created, oh, the other one also, no, actually we have, oh, look at this. We got this one reflection memory, and then we got a second reflection memory also. Now these are very high level, pretty complex one. It's kind of hard to read and decipher. And this one is an extracted memory. You can see episodic is pretty now even extracted memory is for a session, like a meaningful insight from a session. Now you can see. This session is the last session that we did. The because over here I'm using the over here for extracted memory, we're using this session ID because this one extracted memory has a session. Now the thing is, I had only executed for this last session only like this much. And this gave all this much for episodic extracted memory, like all of them. See, this is why I'm saying the best thing is you guys just try it out in your project and see if it makes sense or not, and you execute queries. If it's helping, then you can use it. If not, then you don't have to use it, or you can try to override the prompt. Okay, but if the goal of the video is just to show you how you can generate it, what it is, what it looks like, and how you can read it. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is we generated, so over here, this got in 20 minutes. So I'll just put it over here, 20 minutes, okay? So we listed all the memories. We asked ChatGPT to analyze. Let's set a session ID over here. Okay. Now what is the session ID? It's gonna echo the session ID. This one I'm gonna update over here. Okay, now let's execute one more command. I'm gonna use this one. But this one I'm just gonna say, book me a flight. You just book me a flight from Boston, Houston. I'm not gonna tell it earliest because in the previous one, if you notice, I was telling it, show me all the flight, this, and this day. Choose the earliest flight, complete the booking. Over here, I'm just saying, book me a flight. So, okay, so see, like over here, um, it executed this. Now let's go to CloudWatch Logs and see what happened. And this is what you guys gotta do when you execute it. And if it's not working, you just go to CloudWatch Logs and you look in the memory. So basically, a couple of places what you gotta do, you gotta dump out all the memory, see what is in the memory, and then you can also come in and see what got injected in the memory to troubleshoot memory issues. Okay, so 525 is this one. So this is the one that I said. I just asked it, book me a flight from here, and this is the long-term memory that got injected. Let's have a look at this long-term memory for a second. Now the other thing is, how do we know if this is let me see. This is dancer. Da, 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 da. From here, it starts context. Here is preference. Here is categories. Here is context. Here is preference. Here is categories. Here is context. So this is all user preferences. Okay. So this is all user preferences like we had seen before. Now this one, we have to check where is this coming from. So if I copy this and go over my dump out all my memories and see where is this coming from. I got two. It's semantic. The score is not doing. So this is semantic. Where is this one? This semantic also. Semantic is called like it and search. This is also semantic. Where is this coming from? That's check-in score. Uh, this one is semantic also. So this is all semantic. So this is semantic and these are all user preferences. Semantic and user preferences, it did not inject episodic memory. Now the thing is sometimes it's not gonna inject it. Now the other thing I wanna see is, what I wanna do is, I want to come over here and I want to check the score for this query. My query was book me a flight from Boston to Houston on June 16. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find out what my score is for these queries. Let's see. For these two um, memories. So this is the episodic extracted memory. I have the namespace. Namespace should be the same. Episodes, actor ID, session ID. If you look over here, uh, episodes, actor ID, session ID, and the other one is just episode reflection one. This one, episodes actor ID, episodes actor ID. So that's just that. So what I'm doing over here, let's try to just execute this and see what happens. Okay, let's see what score it gives you. Okay, that's interesting. Episodic extracted. Oh, hang on. Where's this one? Where's this checking score? This is the reflection. And where's the extracted one? Checking score for oh, so there's no, so this one don't have an extracted memory. Let me go over here. Oh, okay. So this last session doesn't have extracted, but it only has reflection. So in the reflection one, uh, what is the score? The score is coming as 0.375, and over here it's coming as 0.372. Now the question is, in the session, we had specified zero point 0.2, so 0.37, it should have included it, right? Because the thing is, it should have included the episodic. Now that there's some other stuff that also goes behind the scene. There's no guarantee that it will include. But the score normally needs to be higher. The score we can see is higher, but still it did not include it for whatever reason. Over here, let's see over here. Reflection, 0.37. See the score is for the query. And my query was book me a flight from Houston. So 0.37 should have been included. For some odd reason, it did not include it. So this is how you can troubleshoot um, issues. Why, what you can do about it. And then you can dig more into it and see. Uh, I might have to come back into this and see why it did not include it. But the other thing is there's no guarantee that it will include it or not. It could be up to AgentCore Session Manager or AgentCore that it might decide not to um, include it. Now the thing is the memory is there in the memory is there in the long-term memory. The reflection memory is in long-term memory. So AgentCore Memory Session Manager, when when it when it grabbed it, it is supposed to check against the score. I don't know how it calculated internally. AgentCore Session, maybe it could also have a bug where it didn't compare the score properly. Which also brings up to the point that AgentCore Session Manager is one way of doing it. Um, the other way is custom way. In my other video, in the memory video, I show you that there are two ways. One is this AgentCore Memory Session Manager. It writes to memory and and injects into long-term memory itself. Um, Uh, and it does a score comparison itself. But the other way is a custom where we can write to the short-term memory and we can read from it and can make sure that it's gonna, the code can do what it does. But I think over here, sometimes they can have some bugs too. I don't know if this is a bug in AgentCore Session Manager um, for episodic or not. So, but I think I'll leave it over here. And if I come across something or if I dig more, dive into it. Now, for instance, if I go into AgentCore CLI, let me go AgentCore. Actually, let me go to this Strands agents. So over here, let me see if there's any community and AgentCore session memory. Over here, we have this manager. Now, this is no, not this one. Bedrock Agent Core Strands Agents. Hang on. This one, oh, it's right over there. But the thing is, over here is working for it's working for these three. So let's see over here. Memory config. Huh? Over here, it only gave three types: summary, user, and semantic. Oh, there's no episodic over here. I wonder if it doesn't support episodic. Let's see. Over here, retrieval config 0.7. Oh, maybe it doesn't support episodic. Let me go. They're only telling these three. Maybe that one. Let's have a look over here. Cause see the documentation, they're not okay. Let's see. User summary, user preference, semantic. Okay, so what I wanna do is, where's the source code for this? AgentCore Memory Session Manager. Okay. Oh, this is the session manager. Okay, so memory integrations. So what I want to do is I want to go to issues. Now, wonder over here. I'm gonna go over here, issues and episodic. What are they saying over here? Support for episodic. Look like I have a feeling episodic is not supported by Strands. This. Okay, I'm gonna take a look into this and I'll be back in a second. Hey guys, so I gave it more time and actually after giving it more time and then I executed the same query again and now I can see the episodic memories being injected. So over here, this is the query. I executed the same query over here. Uh, the thing is, like, even when you guys do it, you gotta give it some time. Even after the memories um, they became available for injection, it took a little while. Now, for instance, if I look over here, this is the injected long-term memory on top of this. If I go over here, this is actually not the score one, this one. This is the episodic extracted memory. So the long-term memory has episodic extracted memory. Now reflection one, I'm not seeing it as is. Now I'm not sure if it uh, did not include it or if it reworded it because it could be reworded and the reflection one looks more like directions. Now, the other thing is in Strand Agent, if I come to AgentCore Memory Session Manager, here we only see summary, user preference, semantic. It doesn't even say episodic, but episodic is working because I see that episodic extraction memory was included over here. Okay, so this one should be working. Now, for reflection, we might have to execute more queries and do more testing to see about that. And let's proceed and complete this thing. Uh, that was episodic. Let's look over here for remove semantic and episodic memory using AgentCore CLI. So now let's remove um, semantic and episodic memory. So let's remove this one, episodic and semantic. Okay, so episodic and semantic. So we're gonna remove episodic and we're gonna remove semantic. So the thing is, what we want to test is when we remove this, um, when we remove the semantic one, right now we have, we have semantic memories. When we remove it, will it delete the memory too, or will the memory still be there? So that's the test we're going to do. So let's do an AgentCore deploy, and um, and then we can verify from over here that in the memory that we did. So over here, we're going to delete episodic and semantic. And then I'm going to execute the raw memory again and check if you remove semantic, did it delete the long-term memory also, or it does not delete existing long-term memory. So that's the test where we're going to do. And over here, what we'll do is we're gonna fill this out, uh, removing, and I'm gonna fill this out, and I'm gonna do the same thing for episodic. Let's do this and find out myself. Okay, so we're almost coming to an end, and let's see what this does. I think the one with episodic was tricky, and it was tricky for a reason. I mean, you can see that even in the documentation, they don't even mention episodic. So I didn't even, and I look into the source code for Memory Session Manager. I don't find anything over there. And then the only thing is I gave it a little bit more time and it started to become available. The episodic extraction became available. Now the reflection, like I was saying, we don't know for sure if it's included in the long-term memory or not. We can't tell, but I asked ChatGPT 2 is saying it could be rephrased. So for that one, we're not really 100% sure. We're gonna have to do more testing on that one. But one thing is episodic is being included. If you use Session Manager, like episodic is being included. Reflection one needs more testing. Let's put it that way. But the other thing is they should update this documentation too over here. This doesn't even say episodic at all. And even like If I go over here, AgentCore Memory Session Manager, these are the examples for long-term, short-term memory. All these examples too, they only do summary, user preference, semantics. You don't even show episodic. So what I showed you is still way more than this. We saw that you can do the episodic with extraction. Reflection, I don't know. But they should update the documentation at least. Okay, here you go. So this got deployed. Now, if we go over here and reload this, so you see both of them got deleted, episodic and semantic. Now, what we want to do is the deployment, it got deleted over there. Now, let's go ahead and see over here. So this is core, this is core. So it did not delete the existing reflection memory. It did not delete extracted memories. Now, what about semantic? Look at semantic memories too. It did not delete semantic. Now, if I come over here, if I do session 14EE, I'm using the correct session. Yep. So semantic one also did not delete it. So basically removing it and redeploying only make sure that it won't generate any more of those long-term memories. But the ones that got generated stay over there. Okay, so over here, um, but won't generate future semantic LTM, not deleted this thing. Okay, I'm just gonna say this over here for both. No, did not delete existing, but won't generate future over here, and the same thing over here. So this one, just make sure that in the future is not gonna do it. Now, I'm not gonna, I don't think I have to wait more time because semantic one is pretty fast. That should just take like 1 or 2 minutes and that should be done, but it's still not there. I can try it again. Semantic one, yeah, this one is there. It didn't delete it. So let's do this next one then. Um, Now the other thing what possibility is that if you do wanna remove it, with the AWS console, you can go and manually go over all the semantic memory and delete it. That's one option. And the other option, worst case, is you just delete the whole memory and recreate it. But I think the better one would be just iterate through semantic with the AWS CLI and using this AgentCore SDK, and you can just delete the semantic one if you needed to. Okay. Let's go ahead and delete the CloudFormation stack. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do AgentCore remove all. So this is gonna remove, well, actually, if I do this, it's gonna delete everything. Um, then you guys won't have the code. Actually, you know what? I'll leave this one out then, because I'll upload this code to Patreon for later. And what I'll also do is, um, or what I can do is, I think I know what I can do. What I'll do is I'll leave these memories here because just to show you guys here, and then I'll copy this, and that way I can make a copy of this, and then um, what we can do is there's a memory demo, and then I can what I'll do is then I'll remove it and everything. In that way, I can have a copy of all the code because I think some of you guys want the code. Um, okay, this one is going to take a little time, so I'll be back when this gets done. Okay, guys, so it copied over the folder, so I can go ahead and proceed. So over here, as you can see, we're done with this, and we did this, and we did this. So now let's do the last one. Delete CloudFormation stack. Okay. So we just do remove all over here. And when we do remove all, it's going to remove all the memory and runtime and everything. It's gonna delete the whole stack. This memory CloudFormation that got deployed before is going to delete the whole stack. And it's going to ask for confirmation. Do you really want to do it? And I'm going to say yes. You see, like it removed everything, memory, runtime, everything got removed. Okay. So now after this, I just do AgentCore deploy. And when this gets deployed, it's gonna delete the whole stack. And then our runtime and memory gonna be gone and all the other resources. Okay, over here again, asking for confirmation. I have to say yes. Okay, while this is doing, I think we covered a lot over here. Uh, I think that the only hiccup we had um, was the episodic uh, reflection, but that's also not really our fault because even the documentation doesn't even say that. We still were able to go quite a bit forward, like on that too. But over here, we did a lot. I mean, now in AgentCore CLI, you can add long-term memories incrementally and you could remove them. Use AgentCore session memory to write to short-term. It automatically wrote. wrote it to short term, and then it retrieved long term. We generated all the long term memories. We verified long term memories were injected and sent to the LM with prompt in CloudWatch Logs. In the CloudWatch log, I showed you how we can identify which long term memory is which one. Um, Then we added episodic, extracted, and reflection by updating the config and redeploying. Then we generated long-term memories. And then we went over when to use episodic memories because episodic is not for every document. A lot of AWS tutorials do not show this, and this is also new also. But it has its own specific use case, like we saw that only uh, I think over here, only like when where understanding of sequence of past interaction improves quality. Whatever you've done in the past, the conversation, whenever that really improves feature quality, then you can. So very, and then you need the other thing is you can put it and you can try it out and see if it can work in your project. But the goal of this thing was to provide you with all the information on how you can try to incorporate that into your project and test it out to see is it working for you or not. Okay. And then we incrementally removed it with the AgentCore CLI, and then we are deleting the. Now this is all using AgentCore CLI, which is the new CLI. And the old one used to be AgentCore Starter Toolkit. Okay. Okay, let's see. So it deployed it. Now let's look at see that the stack is gone. CloudFormation stack is gone. And let's look at the memory. The memory is deleted and the runtime is deleted. So everything gone. All right, so this brings us to the conclusion. I hope it was informative. We went over a lot and you guys learned a lot. So I will see you guys in the next video and please subscribe if you haven't. Thank you. Bye-bye.